Hello, welcome to week 31 of Project 52. If you are new here, in Project 52 we produce one track for each week of the year 2025. So without further ado, let's get right into making this week's track. As always, I have already started this week's track, and as you can see, I am pretty far along already. But today I thought we could try to make it into a full arrangement, and that should be the track for week 31. Let me first play everything that I have in the DAW so far, so you can get a feel of the idea that we are working with this week, and then we'll move into producing the rest of the track. And at the end of the video, I'll play the finished track that I will probably be mixing and mastering tomorrow off camera. Okay, I'll play the track so far. This is going to be kind of like a mid-tempo bass track. I know there's a genre for it, but I just can't think of it at the moment. Anyway, you'll hear it once I play it to you. Here it is, the idea for week 31's track. And that second part of the drop, and actually pretty much all of the drop, is a work in progress still, so I'm not gonna play it the whole way through because we are gonna be listening to that part a lot today. So that's the idea, and actually now I realized that when I was talking to you in the intro about the sections of this week's video, I forgot that I'll be showing you the individual tracks of the project. So let's do that next, and then we'll jump into the production. So as always, I will start from the drums. I'll try to fly through these because most of these are just very basic and simple elements. The first one is just a kick drum. Then we have a snare built out of two layers. The first one is this sort of very snappy kind of trap snare, maybe. And the second one is just djembe, some sort of percussion, which is also heavily processed with flatter and clips mainly to give that sort of sound that it's doing. So without these two, very plain, and with clips and flatter on, totally different sound. Next up we have a cowbell, it seems. It sounds like this. Then to give a bit more high end towards the drop, we have a ride, which also plays in the drop, slightly differently. Then in the build up also we have, like, I don't know what this is. I worked on this for a long time and it barely makes a difference, but it sounds like this. This is what it sounds like without further. Like, I don't know why I have this here. Then we have this very resonant tonal percussion, which just plays like 4 times in a row and then goes silent with some delay. Then we have a percussion loop which kind of gives the drums their rhythm, I guess. Then there is a shaker for the build-up, and a hi-hat with some delay, a crash. The last track in the drums group is a tambourine loop which is cut up into very tiny pieces just for the drop. So the drums in solo altogether sound like this in the build-up. And then in the drop. Okay, then into the cool stuff, we have the bass group. The first one is the sub bass, which is very simple. It's just like a sub bass, literally. I don't know if you can even hear that if you don't have headphones on. Then we have the main bass group, as I've named it, and the first element in it is the one bass that we have in the intro and the build-up, which is not actually a bass in a sense that it doesn't have a sub frequency. The sub bass is only introduced in the drop for the first time, and the intro bass is a phase plant patch as well, but this time a bit more complex. Well, it's not super complex either. Then onto the second layer of the main bass group, which is the drop sound, the drop bass sound. And it's also like not super complex. There's just 3 oscillators working together, and the main thing that makes the sound as it is probably the convolver. Without the convolver, it's very different. The main energy for the sound is probably coming from Cramit, so without Cramit, it's so different. Oh my God. So those are the bass sounds. And then lastly we have this one sound that's before the drop. It sounds like this. And it's also a faceplant patch, very noisy and kind of sounds like a very distorted guitar to me, but I don't know. Then onto the leads, of which we don't have any in the drop, so they are all in the intro and the build-up. The first one is, I think these are all Analog Lab presets. Oh, there's one faceplant patch, so I'll show you that soon. But the first one is just a pad, a very cool pad in my opinion. Oh my God, that's insane. I would never be able to make anything like this myself. The next one is also, as I said, an Analog Lab preset. It's only for the build-up. It's from CS80. Then we have this kind of melody as well, which has 2 layers in it. The first one is Augmented Strings preset. It sounds like this. And the second layer of that sound is the faceplant patch that I mentioned, which is made by just like modulating the phase of these 2 triangle layers. The other one is modulated by a random oscillator, and the other one is just like 80 Hertz LFO, which is very fast for an LFO. And the resulting sound is kind of a like very gritty type of lead, and it sounds like this. Then the effects, the first one is actually resampled from Analog Lab as well, and it's insane. Also something I could never sound design myself. Then the rest of them are just like impacts and sweeps and risers. We have this one. Then we have this one, super cinematic transition. This one. And then lastly 2 risers. The first one is made in faceplant and it sounds like this. And the second one is just a sample. Okay, those are all the elements so far. Next up, let's try to make the drop a little bit more interesting and perhaps a bit more heavy hitting. And then let's just try to make a full arrangement out of what we have already laid out by just like, I don't know, copying and pasting or whatever. Let's see. We could have one more high frequency layer to the sides to kind of glue everything together, because right now we are pretty mono. I guess it's a bit better. It's very dry, so I don't know what to do about it, but let's try to find ways to add a bit more space. I really don't have any ideas what the filling thing could be, because I'm not super good at making like this type of bass music, so this is very new to me. But let's try to figure out something, maybe by getting inspiration from Analog Lab. Do you have some cool effects or something I could use? Ooh, the mod pies. I think we need some sort of drone in the background, just something to keep up the atmosphere or the tension or something. I don't know. That's not the right sound. Or maybe it could be an ARP. That was pretty good actually for me playing live. I mean, that's so basic, but I'm kind of proud of that. But let's quantize it anyway. I don't know. That's interesting. Okay, it's not perfect, but let's move on because that's what we gotta do. Next, or kind of the last thing probably for the drop, is that I kind of want to add some sort of something in the breaks, you know, these parts. So that's, I hope, the last thing that I'm gonna do for the drop, and then let's just make the rest of the arrangement. In this last part, could we make the bass change the note? That's pretty cool. Again, I haven't listened to the track from the very beginning, like in an hour or something, and I have no idea if this drop that we've been working on even works. Let's do that next, and then I'll just have to let go of working on the drop. The intro is so much fuller and better, which is why the drop is kind of a disappointment when it eventually comes. So, like, this part is so epic, it sounds like something from a Jurassic World movie or something. And then we go into here, and this is just so weak compared, even though this should be the most aggressive part of the track. This arpeggio is just hideous. I'm gonna get rid of it. Okay, these two can just go. I don't care. It's gonna be way better to just use the sounds in the build-up. That's nice. Okay, now I think I'm onto something. Alright, then let's copy. I've taken so long to work on the drop that I don't think I have time to finish the arrangement today, but we'll just finish it tomorrow. I gotta end for today. I just have to. I could work on this forever. Let's continue working on tomorrow for a bit while longer. I'll probably try to advance the track a bit in the meanwhile and just show you tomorrow the changes that I've made, and then let's just try to quickly get the arrangement done, and that's it for this week's track. So see you tomorrow. Okay, it's a new day. I worked on the track for a couple of hours this morning, and I have made it a bit better using the idea that we made yesterday. Another thing is that I tried to make this week's track a simple one in a sense that I wouldn't have a lot of tracks, and I probably have the most tracks that I have had in any of these Project 52 weeks so far. So we have 58 tracks. I mean, that includes the groups, but anyway, that's way more than I usually have for these short tracks. So I have kind of overproduced the track already. And also I tried to make the track a minimalistic one in the drop part, but I don't know why this keeps happening. I just always like keep on adding stuff until everything is like so full. And honestly, it's a bit frustrating because I don't know why I keep doing that. For some reason to me, like the loudness and the fullness of things means a better track, even though that's not true, of course. How about this? Next week we'll make a 10 track challenge. So I can only add 10 tracks, and that's all I can work with. Maybe I'll try to even film the whole process from the very beginning, because the production should be much simpler and shorter as well. Anyway, enough of rambling. I'll quickly show you what I've done since yesterday, and then let's just speed through the rest of the production, because as you can see, I haven't done anything more than the drop. So I haven't like advanced the arrangement in any way. So after I've showed you the new things, we'll just like try to get the arrangement done as fast as possible, and I'm hoping today's recording could be a lot shorter than yesterday's. Okay, so the intro is pretty much the same, although I have added the drop melody as a kind of a introduction. So it just sounds like this. Let's see, what else? I guess the most things are in the melody. So I'm not using this sound for the melody anymore. Now I have a sound made out of 4 layers. So the first one is the main one. It sounds like this. Then I have a second layer for a little more lower mids, and it's just the most simple patch in Faceplant that you can pretty much do. It sounds like this. Sounds ridiculous on its own, but I promise it fits the mix pretty well. And then a third layer, which is just a transient and kind of the high end. And then the fourth layer is not really a layer, but just a different sound playing the same melody, which is for the second half of the drop. And then I made this Faceplant patch, which kind of plays important frequencies that we have in the build-up created by this sound, that make everything as full as it is. And we were missing those frequencies in the drop, and I didn't want to use this sound because it isn't very snappy, you know, like it has a lot of reverb and delay. So I just tried to like design a sound that fills those similar frequencies. So it sounds like this in the drop. It's so weird once again on its own, but it fits everything else, so I guess that's all that matters. Then I have just added a lot of effects. Okay, then there are like just some small details like a sub fill, because I have these 4 bars, I think. No, 2 bars. 2 bars of like a fake drop kind of situation where the drop should start, but it doesn't. It just starts playing the higher frequencies of the bass, and then after that everything else comes in. I think I'll just play you the changes that I've done, and then let's try to finish the track as quickly as possible without me getting stuck on small details that don't matter. Alright, that's it. I already have an idea for what we could do next, so let's start from there. I wouldn't want to add more elements, but I kind of want to add some chords to this section, so I'll try to limit myself to only adding one more sound, and that's it. I can't add any more. It'll end up being too crowded. It's too crowded already, but like this is the last one, I promise. Let's also filter out this weird percussion loop for this part. Another build up. Should we just copy the drop? That would probably be the easiest thing, but you know, let's try to just copy the build up and let's see how it feels. Because right now I kind of like the chill feeling of that middle section. And I don't know if I want to break it again. Like, you know, we could just end there. Oh, that's kind of menacing. No, let's not use this here. Oh, the build-up is so good. Okay, we'll make another drop. It's fine. We can do it pretty quickly, I think. Maybe we can change something. It should be pretty cool. God, why don't I just do this? It should be a bit easier. Okay, I have a thing that I would want to do, and then I have a thing that I will probably end up doing because I don't have the time. So what I would want to do is make this sort of a like a dubstep P kind of drop and change the drums a bit, and we will also add a cool bass sound that will kind of like wobble on top of everything else. Like, that's my idea. But I already see myself in 2 hours still filming, almost running out of batteries on myself and all the gear that I have and not getting anywhere. So I don't know if I even want to try doing that. We could try like really fast, and then we can always fall back to just using the same drop, which would be very lame, to be honest. Let's try to do the cool drop that I have in my head very quickly, and if it doesn't work, then just like, I don't know. Let's maybe end the track after the build up and there will not be any drop even. I don't know. I don't know if I want to use the cowbell. Is that a bit too much? But we might have to add one more layer, to be honest, because this doesn't have a good enough body. So we probably have to add like one with these like very fat low end, and then one with the tonal element. I guess we also need to make sure that the 2 snares that we are now layering are in phase, because both of them have a bit of low end, so we don't want to cancel them out by each other. Like, look at this. These 2 are exactly not in phase. So like right here, you can see that we are kind of just canceling them out. Of course, we have the the high pass filter here, so it wouldn't happen probably, but I think I'm gonna flip the other one anyway. It's not a huge difference when you flip the phase, but you can definitely hear the difference in the transient, so I guess I'm gonna do it. sounds perfect. I'll work on that later on if I have time. I don't have time, but I'm just saying that to make myself feel better. Alright, so I hope the last thing is going to be trying to design the additional wobble bass sound effect that I tried to describe earlier. Let's try to do that, and if we don't succeed, I don't know what we are gonna do. Well, let's try to look for an alternative or something. I don't know what I'm doing, if you haven't noticed already. God damn it, not even close. Should we just try to find something on Analog Lab? Maybe that would be a safer bet first, and then let's come back to my weird little experiment if we aren't able to find anything. I'll check it one more time, everything, and that's it. I won't be doing any more production. I don't even care if something's not right. You know what? I won't even listen to the track. I'll just end the video here because I need to do something else before I start mixing, or otherwise my ears are just going to be so tired of hearing the track that it's hard to make good decisions. So that's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for spending all this time with me. Once again, it really means a lot to me. If you're interested in seeing the future videos as well, which I will be releasing every Wednesday, be sure to be subscribed to the channel. And also, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like it. That would also mean a lot. If you're interested in going through this struggle with me and joining the Project 52 challenge, you can join the Sixth Sample Discord server from the link down in the description. And there we have a Project 52 text channel where each week, every Wednesday, we share the tracks that we've made in the past week and give feedback to others. I would love to see you there if you are interested. Next week, we are starting week 32. So it's... oh gosh, the year has gone by so fast. We have 20 days, that would be awesome. 20 weeks left, so still quite a bit of weeks, but I just can't wait to see what we can come up with. Especially for the next week, as I promised that we'll be doing a 10-track challenge, so I won't be using any more than 10 tracks. Today, it's apparently 64, so a bit more than 10, which is the reason I wanna try to stir things up a bit to get me out of my comfort zone and kind of start learning new things again, and how to make good sounding tracks without overproducing anything and just adding more and more elements. So that's what I'll be struggling with probably the next week. So be sure to join then if you are interested. And I guess that's all for today. Here is the finished track. I hope you like it. And as I said, I hope to see you next week for week 32. So see you then. Bye bye.